Fisher used to be one of Land's students. They were part of the CCRU together doing jungle raves and 48-hour meth benders. So they have a special relationship. They ended up on basically different ends of the political spectrum in a lot of ways. But Fisher is quite charitable to Land in this one regard when it comes to the analysis of what capitalism really is. If all meta-narratives are dead, if there is no transcendent ground for politics or values as Lyotard describes, and if the only intellectually defensible position is that meta-narratives and transcendental truth is bullshit, Land kind of embraces that for what it is. He doesn't like stare into the abyss and flinch. What does that actually mean is that unlike the liberal Democrats, the Bill Clinton, Thatcher type, libertarian types who think that, capitalism is this redeemable, benevolent system, Land actually sees it for what it is, where it has an inhuman, unstoppable drive that is not anthropocentric, that has its own logic, and that'll stop at nothing, essentially.
Land, in like the OG CCRU Fanged Noumena writings, specifically references the Reagans and the Thatchers of the world and says that these people think that they're streamlining and controlling capital, but capital is controlling them. And that brings you back to the idea that the autonomy is in the force itself. If you restrain it, it's a temporary destabilization.
It's a local entropy.
That is then reterritorialized, and capital comes back bigger, better, faster, meaner, more evil. Land also goes into how capitalism is technology, is AI. What the line of reasoning is, imagine you start slaying this mean bunny in your garden, and then every time you kill it, it comes back morphed into something else, like a hydra. Every time you cut off one head, it comes back with two.
Yeah.
And that is what ultimately crescendos into the singularity.
If you had to give a more heterodox definition of what capitalism is, I like phrasing it as it is basically the structuralization of psychological desires. As in, what is another form of psychological desires? Addiction. If you are a heroin addict, you need one hit, you need a bigger hit, then you need a bigger hit. Capitalism has its own kind of logic in that sense. Ultimately, its logic is what people want. And wanting too much has its own destructive mechanism, like we see with addiction.
What you're saying is literally the reflection of what Land argues, because Land often describes it as deterritorializing the human security system. What is human security system? The set of norms that limits desire.